Hi, my name is Rafaela Galindo. I am a filmmaker and storyteller, and today I'm interviewing a sex therapist.
Yeah, my name is Ian McPhail, and I am a psychologist in supervised practice at the Toronto Sexuality Centre. Paraphilias are, in general, persistent long-term interests in objects, specific activities that don't involve sort of procreative sex, or targets individuals that wouldn't necessarily be available for reproductive procreation. So paraphilias in general are just sexual interests that don't involve sort of consenting adults.
Is that a difference in between paraphilia and paraphilic disorder?
Absolutely. So we typically think that there are people out there with paraphilic interests who aren't really distressed by these interests. These interests are part of their lives. They've integrated them. In some instances, they're able to pursue who and what and how they want to have sex, and so aren't bothered by it. For folks who are distressed by their interest, or they're experiencing interpersonal consequences, social consequences of their engagements or not engaging in these interests. So the disorder is, sort of having negative outcomes associated with having these interests, or being really distressed by the interest to a point where it's interfering with people's ability to meaningfully engage in their lives.
What are the other kinds of paraphilic disorders?
A few main categories. Sexual sadism, sexual masochism, fetishism or fetishistic interests, which can be a wide range of things. Interest in feet, hands, shoes, stockings, hats, all sort of a lot of different objects. Garbage can be an interest as well. So there's, fetishes are kind of an interest in objects that remind you or elicit the people that you're sexually attracted to. Generally speaking, that's what it's about. Exhibitionism, interest in exposing yourself to people, and voyeurism is another one. Watching people surreptitiously, not knowing that they're engaging. They don't know you're watching as they engage in sexual activity. Transvestic fetishism, so sexual interest in cross-dressing is another big one. So paraphilias are really this wide range of sexual interests and activities that don't involve sex between consenting adults. That's either for procreation or for sort of just consensual pleasure. What we do know is that paraphilias tend to co-occur. So most people who have one paraphilia will have another one as well.
How to differentiate when this is normal and when this fetish is becoming a problem?
It's sort of a really simple and straightforward criterion. Are you hurting other people when they don't want to be hurt? If the answer is yes, okay, well, maybe something needs to change. Or are you hurting yourself by pursuing these interests? Those are kind of two basic ideas. And beyond that, it's kind of go out, whatever you enjoy, go do it. If people want to do that with you, they're consenting. I mean, go nuts, have a good time. So that's kind of the basic criteria that I use. And beyond that, I think it sort of devolves into moralistic morality judgments on whose sexual interest is appropriate.
What kind of advice can you provide to partners who are having a hard time and struggling to have a conversation with their partners about what they like in sex?
Yeah, open sexual communication between partners is such a vital component of having sexual satisfaction over the long term, especially if you're in a long-term relationship. Um, so I mean, it's one of the main things I tell people is, thinking about sort of how do you think your partner's going to respond, um, and then sort of differentiating that from what's your anxiety telling you, what's the fear telling you, how your partner is going to respond. Excuse me. And usually those two things are different, because most people are there. If you're in a committed, loving relationship, most people are going to be like, okay, well, I love you and I'm willing to keep you happy. And this, knowing what I can do to please you sexually, for a lot of us, that's kind of like, that's what we want. We want to know that about our partners. We want our partners to be able to tell us that, to be like, okay, yeah. And it's sort of, having that conversation, and also trusting your instinct. If you think that your partner is going to shame you and stigmatize you, yeah, that's definitely a problem. And sort of listening and trusting that instinct. And on top of that, if that's something people think is how their partner is going to respond, maybe seeking professional support with a sex therapist. I mean, we're really fantastic about facilitating those conversations between partners. So that's another option that's available to people. One of the things that I encourage people to let go of is an expectation that their partner needs to respond in a certain way, because there's a range of responses that are appropriate and understandable, and doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to want to be engaged and involved in pursuing whatever fetish you're involved in. So they could be like, oh my God, because really can be anxiety provoking for a partner, because like, ooh, what does this mean? What does this mean? What do I have to do with this? How do I support this? Does this mean our relationship's ending? Does this mean my partner's going to leave me because X, Y, and Z? So it's a tense conversation. And then after, you process the emotions, start talking about and sharing with your partner, this is what it actually might look like if we were to do this. And then it's a process of negotiating a sexual contract. What are they okay with? What are they not okay with? And it's fine if they're not okay with certain things. So it's good conversations to have, but definitely complicated.
For a teenager or an adult who is associating what they see in porn with what the sexual experience should look like or feel like it, what is your approach to that?
Porn is a great facilitator and a great way of expressing our sexuality and what we want to masturbate to, and have our own social solo sexuality. So there's nothing, in my mind, wrong with pornography and using pornography. But yeah, that expectation of, okay, now my reality needs to line up to what it looks like in porn. And it goes back to talking to your partners about it. If you say, I want to have like really vigorous oral sex with you, you should definitely talk to your partner before doing it. And so it's not so much that what we want out of sex maps onto what we see in pornography. It's probably having the conversations and being okay if a partner says, yeah, no, that's not my bag, and I don't want to do that at all. So yeah. That's so I don't think there's anything really inherently problematic about saying, yeah, I might want to try that. What is problematic of trying to do it without talking to your partner first, or getting upset with your partner if they say, yeah, no, that's not something I want to do. Yeah.
How trauma can play out in sex?
I mean, there's a number of ways that trauma can play out. I mean, a big one can be sexual dysfunction, and that can involve, not experiencing erections for men, but it can also involve experiencing sexual pain for women. So that's one way, and an aversion to sex, aversion, not wanting to be intimate, not wanting to be close, and sort of having panic symptoms and responses during sex or in the lead up to sex, flashbacks. So there's sort of sexual activity for people who've been sexually traumatized can be can be a triggering event. As well, more chronic and pervasive forms of trauma or sort of repeated boundary violations can leave people having difficulty trusting others. And sex is an intimate thing that we do with other people. Generally, it's things we do with people that we trust. So trauma, if people feel like the world is a dangerous place and others are out to get them, understandably so, because that's absolutely been their experience, that can influence their ability to feel trust for others and trust partners to not cross boundaries, to not do things without their consent, to sort of abuse them. So that leads them to either avoid relationships or avoid sex within relationships. So that could be another, impact. But also, especially, when we're younger and we have adverse experiences like being neglected, not being cared for, experiencing emotional, psychological and verbal abuse over the long term, it can, one of the outcomes of that is just general dysregulation. So emotional dysregulation, impulsivity, behavioral dysregulation. And so that can actually contribute to people having difficulty managing their sexual behavior. So they might pursue a lot of sex, or they might pursue sex in situations that aren't really that safe, and they're sort of taking sexual risks. So that's kind of can be the flip side through this dysregulating effect of trauma, that can sort of lead people down sort of the opposite. It looks at least like the opposite path to others who are, sex is really aversive and they try to avoid it at all costs.
Is that a right age that families can begin having conversations about sexuality with their kids?
Well, kids, go on sexually. They start being interested in other people in that way fairly young, 6, 7, 8 years of age. So I think, having developmentally appropriate conversations about liking other people and, respecting people's boundaries and showing your affection in appropriate ways and just showing your affection in general to people who you're attracted to, those conversations can start quite early. Quite early, I would say probably at the age of 8, 9, or 10. And then as a child grows and ages, as they enter puberty, those are great conversations to have. What is pleasurable? What's good sex at 13 with your peers? What's safe sex? How do you respect people's boundaries? How do you get your own boundaries respected? How do you talk with your partners about sex and sexual activity? I realize a lot of people probably don't want their 13-year-old child having sex with or engaging in any sexual behavior, but that's part and parcel of growing up and supporting people, is having conversations about what's good sex and then what's safe sex as well, and what's sex that is respectful and caring with your partners instead of violating consent and doing things that hurt other people. Yeah.
And especially that conversation about safety and boundaries is extremely important to also prevent sexual abuse in the future, or even if they are the victim of this sexual abuse.
Exactly. And what we see with adolescents who become in trouble with the criminal justice system for committing sexual offenses when they're teenagers, what we know is the vast majority, like 95 to 98% of these people, don't continue to commit sexual offenses in adulthood. So as a group, teenagers who commit sexual offenses, they're kind of, one off. They're not going to continue to do it. And what, in my work with them and my knowledge of the research, a lot of it is violating boundaries that they should have known about, they should have respected. So it's sort of this developmental phase where they don't understand and they cross boundaries and they do things inappropriately. But with proper support and sex education, those type of boundary violations probably wouldn't occur in the first place.